Hey, what is up everybody? Mark here. Today I'm going to go over the concept of kerf with you and show you an easy way for you to get really good fit 99 to 100% of the time with a tool like a slot sizer. So let me start by first explaining to you what kerf is in case you don't know. Kerf is the amount of material that is removed when your laser cuts something. So let me use the slot sizer here as an example. When I designed this, literally all I did was I made rectangles the height that you see here on the side. So this rectangle is 0.09 inches tall, this one is 0.17 inches tall, and so forth. And when I cut this on my laser, kerf happened on each one of these rectangles. So what that does for me is when I take a piece of material and I put it in a slot to find out which one fits the best, kerf has already happened here, so this tells me when I cut this rectangle out of a piece of material, it's going to fit really close to the way it's going to fit here. So all I got to do is take something and find the fit that I like the best, and that's typically going to tell me what size to make my slots, and I don't have to do any math or anything like that. Okay, so what I did today was I cut this out of 1/8 inch MDF, and then I cut this shape here out of 5 different materials. I could have done more, but this will make the point just fine. And then I cut slots that this tab fits into in 2 to 3 different slot sizes for each one of these, so we can test them from one material to the next and see how that affects each one. For example, let me just start with this one. This piece of material is 0.12 thick when I measure it with calipers. And so what I'm gonna do first is take this piece, and by the way, this is the same material here. I'm gonna take this piece and I'm going to go to different slots and find a fit that I like. This is too loose, it just falls right out. 0.11, I like that. It's nice and tight, like that. And so 0.11 is probably the fit that I want. So let me put that down. I will grab a 0.11 slot here out of the same material and test it in here. And guess what? It's exactly the same, fits really nicely, very tight. If I were to do 115, it would fit also. It would just be a little looser and it still wouldn't fall out. See, like that? And let me jump to a question a lot of people have. 115 would simply be between this slot and this one. So if 1 is a little too tight, 1 2 is a little too loose, just add a 5 to the end, 115, and you'll get that kind of fit. Now, a lot of people say, do I need to cut the slot sizer out of the same material that I'm cutting? The answer is maybe. Here we don't, because the fit that we are trying to get, we don't need to be that precise. And nearly every time this works perfectly. I'll show you an example. So again, 011 fit great for this. Here is a piece of clear acrylic, which turns out it's this one right here. So it's almost 0.12 thick. And I cut that same slot size. And for practical senses, when I put this in here, it fits the same way. And it's a completely different material, and it was measured on 1/8 inch MDF, and it was cut from 0.1, basically 19612 clear acrylic. Great. So you see that even though I've changed materials there and I still use this sizer, it worked pretty good. Let's go to the next one. Here's a 0.13 when measured with calipers. Let me see. 1.2 is a pretty good fit there. So 1.2. So let me grab a 1.2 out of this 1/8 inch MDF, and surprise, surprise, of course, it fits great like that. No problem. Let's go to a 1.2 on the on this clear acrylic. Pretty much the same. See, fits nicely. So you see, again, it didn't really affect that. It worked just fine. Let me keep going. Here's the 196. Now, some of this, you'll see some of the variants here, but for the most part, this works just fine for us. Let me see what happens here. 196. I'm gonna go to 1.9. That fits okay, but it does fall out. 1.8 is, it's really too tight. 1.9, so 1.85, 1.87, somewhere in that neighborhood. Let's try that. So 1.85 out of its same material, right? I think this is gonna be nice and really snug, but I don't, yeah, there we go. It's really snug, but it does work. 1.85, okay? Exactly what we expected between the 1.8 and the 1.9, right? And let's go to maybe a 1.9 on 1/8 inch MDF. That should be even tighter. Yep, there it is. But 1.9 works. And this is an example of when you got a big difference between the thickness, the laser is going a lot faster here than it's going here. So the kerf is going to be a little different. But for our application, somewhere in that neighborhood works just fine for the 196. I'll keep going here again. 0.201. Now this one did have some variance, so check this out. Let's try this on the slot sizer. 201. So of course 0.2 works just fine. 1.9 is really tight, so I'm going to say 195 or maybe a little bigger. Here's 195 in its own material, and I want to show you a thing here that if you don't know this, this is important. Your laser cuts in a very slight V. So one side will be a little bit wider than the other side because it's cutting in a V. And this one, I believe I flipped it upside down accidentally when I put the label on there. So this side, actually, there we go. This side does fit. So 195, exactly like we expected. Let me see if I can actually get it in this one. I don't think I can. Oh yeah, I actually can. Okay, so 1.9. So go back to this again. 1.9, I can get it in there. It's just really tight. So you see, this is going to tell you really quickly where the range you need to be in is. And again, for us here, we aren't trying to necessarily not use glue. We're just trying to get a good fit. So I think you guys are figuring this out. One last one here. This is MDF that we sell here, and this measures 254 with the calipers here. And so, of course, it's going to be around the 2.4 to 2.45, right? Right there. Probably 2.4, 2.45. Let's try a 2.4 in its same thickness of material there. Yep, I can get in there, nice fit, no problem. 2.45 is probably fine too. Yeah, that's fine too. There we go. And then of course, if I go to 1/8 inch material, this here down here, 2.4 works fine. 2.45 works fine too, just like that. And all of that was figured out because we used this 1/8 inch slot sizer. Now, if you cut this out of the same material you're cutting, will you get more accurate? Yeah, probably. But you see how, for practical application, this works really well almost every time.